In the sleepy town of Willow Creek, where secrets hide behind picket fences, a chilling obsession unraveled a family's perfect facade. Tom Grayson, a grieving widower, thought he'd found salvation in the arms of Laura Bennett, a woman whose sultry charm masked a dangerous fixation. Her target was not Tom. It was his teenage son, Ethan, a shy artist unaware of the predatory gaze lurking in his own home. Laura's lingering touches, her whispered compliments, and her unrelenting presence promised love but delivered terror. This is the story of a stepmother's twisted desire, a boy's stolen innocence, and a town blindsided by a darkness that seduced them all. Asterisk in the tranquil suburb of Willow Creek, small town in upstate New York, the Grayson family appeared. To embody the American dream, Tom Grayson, a 47-year-old architect, had been a widower for nearly a decade after losing his wife Emily in a tragic car accident. Left to raise their son Ethan alone, Tom poured his energy into providing a stable home. Ethan, now 16, was a quiet teenager with a passion for photography, often seen wandering the town's rolling hills and quiet streets, capturing moments of beauty through his lens. His reserved demeanor and artistic talent made him a familiar figure in Willow Creek, where neighbors admired his creativity and polite nature. In the summer of 2018, Tom's life took a hopeful turn. He met Laura Bennett, a 34-year-old interior designer known for her vibrant personality and impeccable taste. Laura's charm was undeniable. She had a way of lighting up rooms with her laughter and engaging stories. When Tom introduced her to Ethan, she seemed eager to connect, asking about his photography and offering to help with school projects. Their wedding that fall was a modest but joyous affair, attended by close friends and neighbors who saw Laura as a perfect addition to the Grayson household. She moved into their cozy, two-story home, quickly making it her own with elegant decor and thoughtful touches. To outsiders, the family was a picture of harmony: a father rebuilding his life, a son gaining a new maternal figure, and a woman eager to embrace her role as stepmother. But beneath this polished surface, subtle cracks began to form. Laura's attention toward Ethan was intense, more so than expected for a stepmother still building a relationship. She'd linger during conversations, her eyes fixed on him with an unsettling focus. She'd offer to drive him to school, sit in on his photography club meetings, and even rearrange his room, claiming it needed her creative vision. Ethan, naturally shy, brushed off his discomfort as adjustment to the new family dynamic. Tom, consumed by long hours at his architectural firm, saw Laura's involvement as a sign of care, a way to bridge the gap left by Emily's absence. Neighbors noticed Laura's attentiveness but thought little of it, chalking it up to her enthusiasm for her new role. Yet in private moments, Ethan felt a growing unease, a sense that Laura's affection was not maternal, but something he couldn't quite name. The seeds of a dark obsession were quietly taking root, unnoticed by the sleepy town of Willow Creek. By early 2019, Ethan's world began to shift. Once a vibrant teen who spent weekends photographing the town's historic bridges and sprawling forests, it became withdrawn. His friends noticed he rarely joined them at the local diner or skate park, places where they used to share laughs and plan photography projects. At school, his teachers observed a decline in his performance. His once detailed essays were replaced with half-hearted submissions, and his photographs, previously bursting with color and life, turned moody images of desolate fields, shadowed figures, and empty rooms. His photography teacher, Mrs. Harper, grew concerned, noting that Ethan's work seemed to reflect a heavy, unspoken burden. At home, Laura's presence was inescapable. She insisted on being involved in every aspect of Ethan's life. She'd rearrange his camera equipment, claiming it was disorganized, suggest specific subjects for his photos, often ones that aligned with her aesthetic tastes. She began accompanying him to school events, standing closer than necessary, her hand often resting on his arm or shoulder. Neighbors saw her as a devoted stepmother, but Ethan felt suffocated. He started locking his bedroom door at night, a habit he'd never had before. His journal, later uncovered by investigators, revealed his growing discomfort. Entries described feeling watched and trapped, with vague references to Laura's strange looks and too close hugs. He wrote about finding small items missing, a property's a pen, sock, a notebook, only to see them reappear in odd places, like under his pillow or in Laura's purse. Tom, distracted by a major project at work, dismissed Ethan's moodiness. As teenage angst, he trusted Laura implicitly, grateful for her efforts to bond with his son. But Laura's behavior grew bolder. She began entering Ethan's room without knocking, sitting on his bed while he edited photos, her presence lingering long after he asked for privacy. She gifted him a silver locket with her photo inside, insisting he wear it to remember family. Ethan, uncomfortable but unsure how to confront her, hid the locket in a drawer. Laura's fixation was becoming harder to ignore, yet no one outside the home suspected anything amiss. The town saw a perfect family, but Ethan was living in a silent nightmare, his instincts screaming that something was deeply wrong. The turning point came in April 2019, when Ethan's best friend, Caleb, stumbled upon a chilling clue. A fellow photography enthusiast visited the Grayson home to borrow a camera lens for a school project. While waiting in Ethan's room, he noticed a loose curtain behind a bookshelf, partially concealing a small nook in the wall. Curiosity got the better of him, and he found a locked wooden box hidden inside. Using a paperclip, Caleb pried it open, revealing a collection of Polaroid photos, dozens of images of Ethan in private moments. Some showed him sleeping, his face peaceful but unaware. Others captured him changing in his room, oblivious to the camera. Each photo was meticulously labeled with dates, times, and cryptic notes like "My muse at rest" or "Perfect in the morning light." The most recent photo was dated just days earlier. Horrified, Caleb confronted Ethan, who was visibly shaken. Ethan admitted he'd felt uneasy for months. Laura's constant presence, her lingering touches, her insistence on being near him, but he hadn't suspected she was invading his privacy to this extent. He was terrified of telling Tom, fearing it would shatter the family. Caleb, however, refused to stay silent. He took a few of the photos to the Willow Creek police station, hoping for action. The officer on duty initially dismissed the photos as a possible prank, suggesting Ethan might have taken them himself for an art project. But Detective Sarah Mills, a seasoned investigator with a knack for spotting red flags, took the reports seriously. She interviewed Caleb and Ethan privately, noting Ethan's fear and reluctance to speak ill of Laura. Digging into Laura's background, Mills uncovered troubling details: a history of short-lived relationships, a restraining order from a former partner who described Laura as obsessively controlling, and a gap in her employment history that raised questions. The photos were undeniable evidence, but Mills needed more to act. She knew the situation was delicate and dangerous. With Tom's hesitant permission, Detective Mills launched a discreet investigation. She installed a hidden camera in the Grayson home, positioned to monitor the hallway and Ethan's room. The footage was chilling. Late at night, when the house was quiet, Laura would slip out of her bedroom and stand outside Ethan's door, sometimes for hours. She'd enter silently, watching him sleep, her face illuminated by moonlight, as she stood motionless by his bed. The camera captured her, tracing her fingers over his desk, his camera, his clothes, occasionally slipping small items into her Paquita hairbrush, a torn page from his sketchbook, a single earring. In one clip, she sat at the kitchen table, writing feverishly in a leather-bound journal. When investigators later seized it, they found pages filled with obsessive ramblings about Ethan, describing him as her destiny and the only one who understands her soul. She wrote about wanting to preserve him forever, her words growing increasingly unhinged. Mills expanded the investigation, uncovering Laura's secret online activity. Under pseudonyms, she maintained profiles on obscure forums, posting about a forbidden bond with someone she called E. She shared manipulated versions of Ethan's photographs, digitally inserting herself into his image, is standing beside him in a field, holding his hand in a sunset scene. The posts were met with encouragement from anonymous users, fueling her fixation. The most alarming discovery came when Mills traced Laura's purchase history. She had ordered a vial of a sedative from an unregulated online pharmacy, along with books on psychological manipulation and capturing devotion. Fearing Laura's intentions were escalating, Mills prepared to make an arrest. But Laura, perhaps sensing the investigation closing in, vanished from Willow Creek overnight. Left behind her clothes, her car, and a cryptic note on the kitchen counter, "I'll always be watching." The town was stunned, and Ethan was left grappling with the violation of his privacy and trust. The search for Laura became a national story, her face plastered across news outlets as the Willow Creek stalker. Ethan and Tom struggled to rebuild their lives, haunted by the betrayal. Ethan stopped photographing, unable to touch his camera without feeling Laura's gaze. Tom blamed himself for missing the signs, retreating into guilt and isolation. Detective Mills, determined to bring Laura to justice, followed leads across state lines. For months, Laura remained a ghost, her trail cold. Then, in December 2019, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source. A woman in a small Oregon town reported a stranger renting a cabin under a false name. The description matched Laura, and local police found her living under an alias, working as a freelance designer. When they raided the cabin, they discovered a shrine dedicated to Ethan, hundreds of his photos, some stolen from Willow Creek, others newly taken from a distance, suggesting Laura had been watching him even after fleeing. The final twist came. During Laura's interrogation, she revealed a shocking truth. She had known Ethan's mother, Emily, years before the accident. Laura had been a colleague of Emily's at a design firm and harbored a deep resentment toward her, believing Emily had stolen opportunities in Tom from her. When Emily died, Laura saw a chance to insert herself into Tom's life, but her fixation shifted to Ethan, whom she viewed as a pure version of the family she felt entitled to. Her obsession wasn't just personal, it was a twisted revenge against a past she couldn't let go. Laura was charged with stalking, invasion of privacy, and illegal surveillance. At her trial in 2020, she showed no remorse, claiming Ethan belonged to her. She was sentenced to 7 years in prison, but the damage to the Grayson family was irreparable. Ethan, now 22, has moved to a new city, slowly rediscovering his love for photography. Tom sold the Willow Creek house, unable to live with the memories. The town, once a symbol of quiet safety, remained shaken, a reminder that obsession can hide behind the most charming facade. Laura's journal, now in evidence, ends with a chilling line, "He'll never escape my eyes." For Ethan, the scars of her gaze linger, a haunting reminder of a stepmother's intimate obsession that nearly destroyed him.